Hi there, I'm Laura McCracken, and I'm at Merchant Payment Ecosystems in the Marlene Bar, and I've managed to find another victim for Payment Provocateurs, Matteo Gamba. He's the head of global payments and fraud at Wayfair. Good to have a merchant on board.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. So, what brought you to Merchant Payment Ecosystems?
So generally, I live in Berlin, so it's home turf. It's easy, but it's a conference I've been coming to for the past few years, and I like the type of setup. I like to meet other merchants. I like to meet solution providers. Generally, I like to network with people that I've been meeting over the years, and yeah, sometimes I also happen to be on some of the sessions.
I'm sure you're quite popular. People are always looking for the merchants to talk to. A little bit of like vultures. So tell me, we've been talking a lot about customer. What's the biggest customer pain point that you as a merchant see for your customers?
Yeah. So the way I like to think about it is giving customers the payment method that they want, the time that they want, with the least amount of friction, while still maintaining the level of security that and trust that they expect to find. And really, like, that is something that changes over time. Different customers have different preferences. And so really, how do you spot the right option at the right time?
Very good. And what do you guys do to fix things for them? What's your biggest solution?
I think wallets. Wallets are definitely one of the things that are helping both customers and merchants, because if you think about it, the customer goes through some effort when onboarding their payment credentials, their information into a wallet, but ultimately that onboarding efforts are paying off in the long term. When you come back, when you reuse that saved information. I think Apple Pay is the best example. You save your information into Apple Pay and you don't have to think about it. You go to a merchant that accepts that type of wallet solution and you're good to go. And it's very safe, very secure, and also with better performance for merchants. So that's definitely an option. Probably not for everybody, but if we could, that would be definitely something to.
Can I ask you, can you tell me what the shopping cart abandonment rate is? I mean, maybe you can't tell me your merchant specific, but what's the average shopping cart abandonment rate online?
You need to look at different steps of the funnel. So I think that's where I would look at it. The biggest blocker is probably the login step, where you have to provide your login details. That can range from 10% to 30%. Some merchants probably even have more. It really depends how much you're optimizing that type of experience. And then depending on whether it's a new customer, returning customer, you will see different type of drop-off rates, depending also on how much information you're asking people to provide. And that's where, like, going back to wallets, that's what actually helps. Like, you reduce that effort, you reduce also that drop-off, because I don't need to do the same actions over and over. I already took them in the past, just put my thumb on my face, and that's good to go.
Got it. Cool. Okay, and a little bit of merchant payment ecosystems. What's the most exciting trend you've seen so far in payments here at this conference?
Yeah, so there is a lot of talking about AI, but I'm not going to talk about that. I think it's more about what I'm interested in, that I'm really looking forward is more of an idea of digital identity, seeing if and when that's going to come. There are regulatory efforts coming up in Europe. At the end of the year, then there will need to be an implementation period. But the more we go towards a concept of a digital identity, I think the more we are closer to solve the fraud problem and trust problem. And if you solve that type of problem, you also can have better payment authorization and payment performance. Because ultimately, a lot of declines are happening because of a lack of understanding of customer identity and lack of trust between the different parts. Once you solve that type of problem, that type of fraud, you can put it aside probably.
Yeah, I've been saying, I mean, we especially need digital identity when it comes to social commerce, shopping online with social media. Yeah, definitely. And last but not least, I have this little game we like to play. It's called Payment Provocateurs. I'm going to give you a card, and the card has a payment debate topic on it. So would you like to take a pick?
Let's see. This one. So, is fraud prevention killing the customer experience? That's
Yes.
a hot take. I will say, actually, fraud prevention is helping with the customer experience. Because when you think about fraud, you should not be thinking just about chargebacks, just about preventing the bad guys from making purchases on your shop. Rather, it's very important to think about also the good customers, the ones that are actually being declined, because there is a limited understanding about who they are and their risk profile. And so working with the right solution provider, collecting the right data points and sharing them with the rest of the ecosystem actually helps to better identify those good customers that are being declined. And so you can use fraud prevention to improve your top line and not just focus on the bottom line and the chargebacks.
Now, okay, I believe you when you say that we need to bring down fraud, and I get why that's a benefit to customers and merchants, but sometimes it can be really annoying. I mean, when you have to like show your face and your thumb, I mean, is there a point where, is there something that you can imagine we would cut out of the process? Or is digital identity going to solve it for us so we don't have to do so many different factors of authentication?
Fraud prevention is always about, it's a trade-off between friction and security. And the more you lower the friction, the more you leave it open to the bad guys to do their bad stuff. So there is always going to be a level of friction that is important to maintain. What is critical to do is to think about the right friction mechanisms that are easy enough for good customers to overcome, but that are hard enough for the bad guys to be stopped. And so that's the type of solution that we have to look at. And maybe digital identity will help with that, but there's still going to be some level of friction at some point in the process.
Yeah, okay, that's very good. All right, well, thank you very much for joining us, Matteo. Let's raise our glasses, a little toast.
Cheers.
Hope to see you at the awards dinner later.
Yes, we'll do.
Cheers.
Cheers.